Huh?
I think envy is one of the reasons, yeah.
Masuya lang ka?
Mm.
Right? Or maybe di ba naman nagitawag nila og seniority, di ba? Seniority, di ba? Nga mas tiguang man ni siya, so mas daghan siya mga panginihanglan siguro. Right? That's possible, di ba? Kaya, for example, tiguang na siya kay prone to illness na, daghan siya gipakaon, and so on and so forth. Ikaw nga, bata pa, basig pareha mong skill sets, pero bata pa man ka, like, o pa kayo panghinanglan, di pa kayo kadakag bills bayran, and so on and so forth, di ba? So it could be that. It could also be kanang gitawag nila meritocracy, di ba? Na may lain-lain nga mga different ways of looking at it. Based on merit. Ang merit natong gihisgutan siguro aning dapita kung boxing, for example, is number of fights under your belt. Si Pacquiao has fought 60 times good. This is just professional, na puto siya amateur, di ba? So, dugay na kayo siya, nagana kayo siya, senior na kayo siya, di ba? Nga gamay nilang sa nga, mga adlaw nga iyahang di look forward to as a professional boxer. Murag, this is like the tail end of his career, di ba? Si Barrios, medyo bata pag jutay, di ba? So, mo siguro siya na, di ba? What do you think?
That actually makes sense, Wood, na like you pay the senior like boxer more, or like the more kanang mas popular na boxer more. But when you think of it kay sa skills man pud good nimo, like daogon ba ya ang game. So I think it could also be unfair to the other party. Na like, wait.
Sa skills nimo?
Yeah, because it's a sport at the end of the day. So you win with your skills and not with your kanang di man siya murag reality show na like kanang makadaog ang luoy yung story, di ba? Like you have to win with your skills. So I think I get why it could be unfair to the other party na dili sila like kung dili man equal or dili nga nakaduol gan ilang pay grade.
Before we continue, let's continue the discussion. But before we continue, I'd like to say happy birthday to MD, celebrating his birthday today. I think MD is now 35 years old. Looking 35 years old is si MD, si Michael Dino. Happy birthday, Sir MD. Ka-MD, as I fondly call him. Happy birthday, MD, from the 5th Avenue family. Happy birthday din mo diha. And good morning sa akong mga kauban diha sa 5th Avenue family. Good morning, guys. Happy birthday once again to MD, celebrating his 35th birthday today. If you know MD and if you want to greet him, tell him that he's looking like he's 35 years old today. Happy birthday once again, MD. So back to the discussion. Does Pacquiao deserve a rematch, or does Barrios deserve a rematch? Kung hanaon mo, draw man tong away, di ba? Draw.
Majority
Tabla.
draw.
Sorry, majority draw, di ba? So ang pasabot ni ana, ang ilahang sweldo unta to, theoretically, tabla sa, di ba?
Exactly, yeah.
Di ba? Kung if we're going to follow your logic ba, nga depending on the skill set ragyod, di mo i-measure ang usa ka bout, di ba? Supposedly equal sila og sweldo, nganong dili man to equal sila og sweldo. So do you feel nga it's unfair for Barrios nga dili siya parehag sweldo, ang iyang sweldo 1/12 ra? Kay 1 million iha, kang Pacquiao kay $12 million. Do you feel that it was unfair for Barrios?
Yeah, I think it could be unfair to sport, especially since naman po siya panindig, like, is not as popular as Pacquiao, but he won the past championship, diba? That in itself is already of value.
Yeah.
And I think one to parang dili kay siya murag makatarungan pa na ing anak kadako ang murag gap kan inilang duha. And especially seeing the outcome of the fight na it's a draw. So actually, I've read an article earlier and I saw na a lot of Filipino Americans now, they want na mag-rematch dyan si Pacquiao ug si Barrios. And these people, they're mostly Pacquiao fans man sad. And they really feel na yung kato na fight daw, they felt jud na Pacquiao should have won. And, like, there are so many debates and stuff, but they really want a rematch daw. Kaya ang draw was not enough for them to sort of like seal the legacy of Pacquiao. They want na si Pacquiao, he would leave with a win. He would retire with a win para ma-seal iyang like golden legacy. I think, yeah.
Yeah, so murag kanamasan go boxing good kung doubtful bitaw ang result. I've known this in my number of years to watch boxing matches ba. My father is also a huge boxing fan. Kuan gyud kanang boxing mo favor yun na sa usually sa champion. Murag mo favor kanang there's always if murag yun like when in doubt just give it to the champion, or in this case when in doubt i-draw lang ni siya kay murag daghan jud kayo mo bagot-bot kung it could have gone either way man good. Akong feeling yun na to when the match ended kaning well good, if it went to Pacquiao I wouldn't mind. If it went to Barrios, I also would not have minded. So if it was a draw, that would be the most logical decision. Good. In fact, I don't know if you saw the post bout mura og video. I don't know if you know Thurman. Thurman is one of the opponents of Pacquiao. Napakita siya siyang pusta na pwede man ang pusta sa Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Napakita siya sa pusta nga I bet on a draw. Oh, draw yung gipusta. So he won like $8,000, right?
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
so muna siya. So let's read some of the answers sa atong mga kaigsuunan. Kaya ako ning gi-post sa akong Facebook page, Jiggy Juice. Do they deserve a rematch? Ang akong gisulti, did he deserve a rematch? Ang pasabot niya na it could either be both of them. It could be does Pacquiao deserve a rematch? Or does Barrios deserve a rematch, right? Muna akong pasabot nga one ako gi-specify ba nga either does Pacquiao deserve a rematch or does Barrios deserve a rematch. So kamo diha kung naamo yung mga answers ninyo diha, sulti lang mi sa among Facebook page Tops Media Center, sa among TikTok Tops Media Center, also sa among YouTube. Okay, na-answer din ni Ben Kresler. I didn't watch the fight anymore. I'm done. Ikapoy na siya tanaw sa. According to Alvin Casas Loron, yes. Si Chong, yes. Si Ayam Dong Estenzo, pwede rematch ni Romero kuno. This is another fighter, I think. So si Nicolai Enriquez of the band Nicolai, duh. Si Bobby, ingon siya nga, why not? If Manny Pacquiao has that determination and perseverance at his age, then again, it's his strong faith to the Lord that made him or helped him decide. According to Alo, no, the astronomer CEO lost fair and square. Labot ni. Kukoy dadula if the same venue, but if it's in another venue. Ano ka?
What do you think, sir? Does the venue really affect or impact the fight? Or like,
well, for example, katong Awaya, MGM Grand, nagoy poster.
It was a big venue.
There was a streamer good gi-hoist in the rafters sa murag ceiling sa from the ceiling sa venue ba. Pacquiao is back or something like that. Because Pacquiao manggod has the most boxing matches ever.
Ever?
In MGM Grand. He had 16 matches there. So in the venue ba. So he's really at home there.
More siya home court advantage.
Oh, yeah. Although the MGM Grand is at Las Vegas, and I think si Barrios is an American. I mean, he lives in San Antonio, Texas ba? Although iyang heritage kay Mexicano, but I think he's an American, right? So, kung hanaon mo, kung boto hanaon mo, home court advantage ni Barrios.
Ay, Barrios.
Kaya taga-Amerika man siya.
Ay, true.
Nama sa Amerika ang duwa, di ba? Ang away, di ba? So na niya ang home court advantage. But see, the thing is, Pacquiao has fought in that area 16 times in MGM Grand in Las Vegas. And that's number one. Number two, daghan sa kayo mga Filipino community diya sa Las Vegas. So niyang uban ito ng lupad dito sa Las Vegas from other parts of the United States and other parts of the world. So kung hanaon mo, ang terms of kanang home court advantage good is really about the applause, kanang pakpak ba kanang vibe sa usa ka lugar ba. So kung mas daghan og tao nga nag-cheer nimo, mas daghan og tao nga nipakpak for you, then that's your home court advantage. It feels like most of the people there are cheering for you. That's the definition of a home court advantage, di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
So muna siya. So I think mas home court advantage yun ni Pacquiao ang MGM Grand because easily he has fought many more times there compared to any other boxer in history. Right? So muna ay mahog og home court advantage ni
And there's
Pacquiao.
also that sense of familiarity pud niya, no, like sa area lang pud dun sa ring.
Correct, yeah.
Like he knows how to work it. there.
According to Arnie Nahira, a fight versus Davis is bigger and more profitable for Manny, and he will be facing almost the same size opponent in Davis. So, amo nang mga comments sa ato ang Facebook page. Ikaw dia kaning Christine. Unsa may mong tanaw sa duwa? Do they both deserve a rematch? Tanaw nimo.
For me, personally lang,
Okay.
I think siguro kanang pangpalingaw sa mga audience, but for me, kung ako yung nun si Manny, ako siyang ma-advisean, dili na lang kay that fight was good enough for me. Kaya at least ba, it will leave the impression gani nga, hala, unsa kaya G, kung mag-rematch sila na, people will keep on speculating gani, murag like, i-talk about gihapon ba nga, hala, what if no, kung si Manny nag-rematch pa sila, unsa kaya may tabo, murag open ending, sakto ba?
Yeah.
Like in a movie. So,
pero kung ano na mo good, matud pa ni akong amigo nga si Atty. Jingo Quijano, you cannot fault a man for making an honest living, di ba?
yeah,
Kung
true.
kung ang mga tao mo bayad gyapon para mo tanaw ni Manny, we were just talking about earlier nga he still draws a crowd, right? And then Manny can still look like he's a boxer, murag it's still competitive ba?
Yeah.
Then why not, right? Why not? Pero mo lagi ang risk sa iyang health pud grabe pud kayo, di ba? And he doesn't have to look far beside him, behind him, his coach has Alzheimer's, right? Si
Why do you think Sir Jiggy nga mag-Alzheimer's? Because multiple bruise, may
Yeah, mo man ang magka-cause sa Alzheimer's. In fact, kanang mga football players, kanang if you always get your head hit
Okay,
by a
mo na.
ball or even kanang collisions with other people, then I think that's one of the many causes of Alzheimer's. So peligro jud kayo nga. Lagi example si Muhammad Ali, di ba?
Yeah.
Mura man tog.
Murag, ano yung usod siyang
Oh,
head.
murag di ba? Kinamdum ka ni Pope nga mura sa siya magkurugurog. Alzheimer's mo to kang Pope, the late Pope
okay.
Pope Francis ba? Di ba? Magkurugurog mo po to iyahang kamot,
Nerves.
di ba? Tungod na sa Alzheimer's. So of course, Pope Francis has probably a different reason, not for boxing, right? Nga nakuan siya na Alzheimer's siya, but ano ba naging tendency ba? So what do you think, guys? Do you think that Manny Pacquiao and Barrios deserve a rematch? Text 0999-887-6070, or you can join us on our Facebook page, Tops Media Center. Please press subscribe and do your comments, okay, on the topic. We're actually reissuing a topic which was posted earlier. Do they deserve a rematch? Sila ni Barrios o ni Pacquiao. Para nako, si Pacquiao, he's still a crowd drawer. The more he fights, the less of a crowd drawer he becomes. But this is a comeback, mango, di ba? So interesting, you gayo nga. People are saying, can he still stand toe to toe with the champion, right? So I guess the answer is yes. Kaya na draw man niya, di ba?
Naka-survive siya.
Yeah, so may tabuan he still deserves one more chance. Now, kung makakita sila mga bludgeon juga yung pildi juga si Pacquiao, then that becomes a reason for him to quit na gyud, right?
Yeah.
There's something so poetic about quitting while you're on top, di ba? There's something beautiful about that, di ba? But that's what we all want, di ba?
Yeah, it's like leaving your legacy na jud.
No, it's like, and I'm gonna go. I'm biased to dead artists. Pardon me for being so dark, right? The beauty of dead artists, magod, or dead athletes is the book is complete. Your story is complete, diba? Michael Jackson is dead, right? So you know the full arc of his story. You know what I mean? So you already know exactly what his career was and where it went and how murag iyahang climb to the top, right? And his descent from stardom when he got old, right? So there's something about that beautiful kayo and poetic if you end your career on a high note, right? Right?
Yeah.
That's so tempting. That's what most people want, I think. Pero mo lagi, the thing with the high achievers, be careful ha, kani siya maigo na siya kaning Oli. The thing with high achievers is they really don't know when to quit. I think this microphone works, unlike my brain.
Hello.
There you go. So mao na siya nga si Pacquiao dili siya he doesn't know when to quit. Patawag lang siguro kani kuan, patawag lang kani ni Raul man siguro na dia. So mo na siyang wala gid siya ni quit. What are your thoughts on not knowing when to quit? I mean, not knowing when to quit is actually a kind of advantage, di ba? Kamo sa eskwelahan, di ba? Nga dili gyud ta mo quit, mo persevere gyud ta, di ba? Padayon gyud ta, di ba? Naman ay termino nila nga padayon, di ba?
Padayon.
Padayon lang. Laban lang, di ba? So pasabot na that you're being gritty. You're being gritty. Di ka makadug sa mga headphones? Okay. Dili ka muundang, di ka mo retire, di ka mo surrender, di ba? So there's something about that we are being taught in school by our parents and people around us. Ayo, padayon lang di ako. Ayo, give up diya. So when do you think is that counterproductive? Nga, for example lang kanang let's put it at your context. Eskwela ka. Unya, di juga ganahan si mong gi eskwelahan. Di ba di ka ganahan I didn't realize how horrible this course is. This is not me. I don't want to be sitting in a cubicle forever, for my entire life. And if I'm going to work as whatever it is that you and I think this job is going to be replaced by AI anyway because this is so repetitive and all that stuff and numbers are not my thing, blah, blah, blah. Pero ang advice, the voices that you hear is, padayon lang, just laban lang, just grit it out, right? So is this counterproductive na noon nga, gihumani mo imong kurso, basig lisod kaayo, so outside of your comfort zone, pinagpadayon ka because that's what people are telling you to do. But at the end of your course, di ka ganahan sa mong gibuhat. Unya paghuman, mura og lain imong interest ba? Let's just say you're an artist, for example. For example, sige kag kaning so mura ka sige bagutbot na trabaho na ka por sige bagutbot sa imong gibuhat because dili ka ganahan sa imong gibuhat. Right? And potentially you could make a little more if you did your if you practiced your profession, your course, or you could make a little less also if you became an artist, for example, right? Nga dili makapakao nimo sa imong pamilya, nimo sa imong kagalingon and so on and so forth. So there's so many decisions that you have to factor in before you quit. Ang importante is ang imuhang panahon, when do you say that's enough? This is it. Like when does Pacquiao say, I've had it. I don't want to risk my health. I want to be able to live a long and healthy life. There's what they call a lifespan, which is the arc between you're born and your death, and there's what they call a health span, meaning to say nga healthy ka for a long period of time. Kaya posible man nga buhi ka pero you're a vegetable, pardon my language, right? Or you're incapacitated, right? You can't travel and so on and so forth, diba? So si Pacquiao, kung hunaw-naon niya, kung if he's risking his life because of money, because of fame and glory, it could be that he becomes a vegetable in the future, diba? He will never know that. We will never know that, diba? He could suffer the same fate as his coach, si Freddie Roach. He could suffer the same fate as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Muhammad Ali. So you will never know when that happens, and it's a risk that he is taking, diba? And I don't know, no amount of medical technology and know-how and medical care can turn that around. Maybe there is, maybe there's not, especially kung imuhang utok na tayog na because of your career ba. So that's a decision that Manny Pacquiao has to make. Right? What are your thoughts on that? When is the right time to quit? I think we talked about this, but not enough. When is the right time to quit for anyone? Let's go back to your case as a student. When do you say, I don't want to do this anymore?
For me, when it no longer serves you any purpose, gani, or let's say you have exhausted all your resources, your time, your efforts, and then you don't see any possible good outcomes. So I think
So
that's the best time.
What's a good outcome? In your case, for example,
When I see something,
kung dili ka, for example, eskwela man ka, broadcasting, media, di ba?
Yeah.
Mass communications, di ba? So what's a good outcome for you?
Dean's list.
yeah, part of that is kanang being on a dean's list.
No.
And aside from that, kanang what you've learned gani, dili lang siya sa academic, but you can also apply it like outside, especially now that we are doing our internship here.
Okay.
I think, so I'd say there's a progress for me because I keep on kanang learning new things.
Okay.
And if, for example, let's say, wala dyan ko yung nakatunan diri. Yeah, I feel like kanang murag burnt out ang feeling na ko. Bro, I think it's too late naman saan mo pakita yung fourth year na ko. Pero let's say lang kanang second year ni.
So too late, that's actually a valid point. Too late na ka mo quit.
Yeah.
Imo na lang panindigan. Di ba namin nag-term lang panindigan, right? So mura kag di mo ganahan ani pero panindigan lang ni nako. Murag you're just digging your heels ba. For example, good kanang example ni Ana is kanang debate, di ba nga? Basig na ka sa sayop pero murag naka-invest naman ka sa imuhang point of view. You're just digging your heels lang murag manindigan lang gyud kay pagtuo sa mga tao mo gyud imong pagtuo. Although in your heart of hearts natayog siguro to imong pagtuo pero di makaganahan to appear weak, di ba? So mo sad siya, di ba nga imo na lang panindigan. So is that what's happening to you now? Ba kaning Christine, ipanindigan ba nimo baski dili nakaganahan, you're just digging your heels although you know in your heart of hearts nga this is not going to end well.
No, I love my course.
Okay.
I love doing my internship.
Is it because your parents are listening or whoever is
No, they're not actually listening right
Okay.
now. So, I love my course.
Okay.
And very enjoyable. And if ever it happens to me and then I'd say mag-risk kog something and then murag ako sa layout tanan kung unsay mga possible
pros and cons.
pros and cons.
So naki pros and con list.
If ever,
Okay.
basta na ko kuan nga
Big decision.
Sige. Unsa may pros and cons kuno be? Pros and cons to dig your
let's
sa
say
imong
kanang-
kurso o not to shift, for example.
Oh yeah, okay. Ang pros ato kay kanang ma-follow nako akong if dili man jud ni first nako like ganahan nga
First
course.
choice.
Yeah, first choice. And then mas nilabi man ang cons kung mo shift ko kay ang money tas magbalik na sa kog sugod and all nya mas mo taas ang akong pagstay sa eskwelahan ba and then I feel like tiguangan na ako mo-graduate. Oy, so mo na ako na lang gipanindigan and eventually I love the course.
So this is not your first choice, but
No.
Eventually you have learned to love what you're doing, right? So, but kanang love ba? Kanang love, mura man na siya og that's a word nga we imported from other forms of love, right? Like love for other people, love for country. Di ba? I-apply na to na sa atong kurso, di ba? Usually kanang love, it's supposedly reserved for other people, right? Like your family, your partner, and so on and so forth. So i-apply na to na siya sa atong kurso. So is that appropriate ba? Sakto ba na nga imong i-apply ang word nga love sa imong kurso pod? Like love, is that the appropriate word, love, or should it be something else? Kaya kanang love good, di ba? Love is unconditional man kuno, di ba? Love is kind and so selfless and so on and so forth. Does that apply ba to your course? Is that applicable? But what do you think of that, Hillary? I'll ask you that question. What do you think? Does that apply ba? It should be unconditional love also for your course.
I think love can be a strong word for like a course, especially if that's not your first choice. Like pwede man sa dili siya unconditional kay for example like nisudra ka ani na course kay imong parents kay kanilang ilang willing na ibayad or nisudra ka ani na course kay ganahan ka mo shift to another course in the next semester nya kani mo pinakabarato. So yeah, I think love could be too much of a strong word for con, but yeah, I think
I have too much love to give, Hillary, so that's why.
Circling back sa katong question na when does quit not knowing how to quit become counterproductive. Actually, like ako kay mo idolize ko mga people na kanang very laban kay sila, go getter, gritty like parang landutan nila like grabe, like how can they, like they're packing their days as if dili 24 hours lang adlaw, murag 48 hours na nilang adlaw, dagan kasi lagi buhat ana gani. Murag I really idolize those people kay ilang work ethic, grabe kay sila mo kuan. But then I realized bang pud good na like sa kapact sa ilang mga adlaw, murag na-realize ko na this can lead to burnout gani. That's I think that's when not knowing how to quit is very counterproductive, when mo burn out na sila. When you see them, for example, mga idols na ako, when I see them sa stage, kalik murag nindot ko sila tanaw, and they're very productive, they're very talented and all that. But what we don't see behind the scenes kay oto kibaw like murag kapoy na sila and all. Burnout is a really it's really plaguing us, especially in this fast-paced world na they're ang expectations gani nila nato kay like kanang sige lang mo og kanang go-getter kay tang tanan, or like go lang nang go, diba? It's especially in this fast-paced technological world. But yeah, burnout, it's real,
right?
Yeah, it's real.
Sometimes magod, and actually most of the time, especially if you're actually anything, even boxing, you need time to rest, yun, diba? Si Pacquiao, diba? He said nga the 4-year rest that he had was made him love the sport even more, because he was able to get away from it, diba? Kanang creative pursuits, but if you're well rested, diba creativity requires space to be, right? You need to be in solitude sometimes.
You can't rush art.
You need to be in like in a good place or in a bad place, but meaning to say it's probably a traumatic time in your life, or tumultuous time in your life, pero you have the opportunity to be alone and be able to write the things that your bleeding heart is feeling, because if you're not alone and you have so many people around you and you're undergoing something tumultuous, something tragic, dili ka maka define sa imong feelings, diba? Sometimes, diba? Sometimes, of course, it's you can't help it, but people will really surround you, but sooner or later, you'll have to face that tumult, that pain in your heart alone, diba? Sometime, diba? At some point in your life, diba? So if you're given, if you don't give yourself and people around you don't give you space, then you can't understand exactly what you felt and what happened to you. So it'll forever be in your background, but isn't that what trauma is sometimes? Nga, dili ka maka pinpoint bitaw what exactly is ailing you. You don't understand why you're behaving a certain way. So I think it's important to actually face the beast, right? Face your trauma before you can. The word is not getting over it, because you'll probably never get over it, but to be able to operate,
coming to terms
with it. Yeah, coming to terms with it without it distracting you from your goal at that time, right?
Exactly.
What do you think? Oli? Wa man kay kibo dia, Oli.
Ay, sorry.
So what do you think of that? What do you think of kaning your ability to be gritty ba? Like your ability to duke it out no matter what the challenges are. Like is that a good thing, or is that also soul crushing as something gets lost along the way of being brave at accomplishing a certain goal? Ma-diminish ka ba? Like you become like more your soul is crushed and the life out of you is being sucked by this thing that you're doing that you do not want.
Yeah, same with Ellery. Ang tanong si Magud ana, if like ang imong utok kay trabaho lang jud. More as humans ba ya, di ba always na kanang every time always ta kanang ato ang energy is always on the peak. So nagit time sa moubos ta, it's not always na linear atong kuana, more progressive ka, always nagit times mo down ka, and if always na mo i-push imong self na mo go further sa kaya sa imong utok or sa kaya sa imong lawas, well tendency is mo breakdown jud ka, mo like ma burn out jud ka. So, simple example anang kanang let's say like people like me na kanang org people na
Ano sa to? Org people?
Org and like adahan gig organization sa pilan.
Organizations,
School
sige
or
lagkuan, sige lag apil og kuan og ganing mga extracurricular activities mo na sabot nimo?
yeah, mga people. Na may some good na people na daghan kay orgs apilan.
Ngano man, nganong what's with them? Unsa may naa niya na?
Ang
Fear of missing out unsa man na?
ambot lang pud unsay kan sa ako personally katong before kay mo ko nag-org sa kanang mo ko ni join sa bang org kaya FOMO.
Connections po.
Corrections po, but like before kay ni-join ko sa org kay na FOMO ko kay hala silang tanan nang join. Ano wala ako so ni-join ko nya na mga tendency is sa katong sa magdaghan na kay kog org malibog na ko kung unsa nang work akong i-prioritize na magsige na kog work ana wa na pahuway ba. And as someone na very anxious, as someone na kanang dali kay mo overwhelmed, daghan gyud times na burnout ko. So it's important mo good number.
What does burnout feel like for you? Like what happens to you if you get burned out, Oli? I'm curious.
For me lang burnout ang garapin ako na burnout before is katong I think around last year na I don't know what happened basta kay nilaydan ko sa floor sa akong dorm and nihilak ra jud ko. Wala akong gibuhat ato ng time. And like I try to isolate myself from a lot of people. The way mo ko makahandle og kanang like burnout or like let's say anxiety na episode is akong i-isolate akong self sa mga tao dili sa kumutabi na hantod like kanang makaya na ako akong self balik mobira para kanang mubuhat sa akong mga responsibilities. Kaya at the end of the day lagi nag-burnout ko but ang world gatuyok man gihapon wala ga burnout ko. So
kanang burnout ba? I'm curious. Is that a bad thing? How do you define a burnout? Is that like is it a kind of a health scare ba na siya? Is it a health emergency or is that just normal to burn out and you can easily bounce back? And I mean, do you need to get to that point of burnout or is there a better place for you to be without getting burned out? I'm curious whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Kanang burnout. What does that mean? What does that mean when you burned out? Does that mean you've exhausted yourself and or does it mean you've overextended yourself? What does that exactly mean? Go ahead.
Yeah, so it doesn't. Apparently, it's not necessarily a good thing. Ang thing is if na burnout mo ga, it means na daghan ka gibuhat. So like you're active, you're doing a lot of stuff like to progress about number kanang mo progress imong life. Pero the same way, meaning sa burnout is imong gipalabihan. Which is, paano ba ya, dili ba ya, too much is not healthy ba ya sa tanang mga thing. Yeah, too much will kill you. Too much love will kill you. Yeah.
And for me, I think burnout can be pictured as like, imagine like, kanang kandila. Yeah, kanang gilight ang kandila. And then like, diba, ang kandila, as it continues to have the flame or like to light
burn,
up kay mo hinay-hinay ba og melt until mawagtang na ang fire. Murag inga na ang burnout gani like at first you start out very bright, the spark is very bright, but little by little you melt and you eventually the flame will
fade away.
Yeah, and the more you burn too bright, the faster you burn out.
Yeah, we burned too bright, we became ashes.
But isn't that where we're all headed?
I mean,
ashes, right? So
I mean, eventually.
giuban gud nga ilahang kanang bitawng feeling is we're only here in this planet limited time, di ba? And then if in the grander scheme of things, all the time that has elapsed, billions of years, like we're just a tiny dot. So people are just making the most out of it. Some people like you who believe in reincarnation, some people who believe in a heaven, for example, ilang feeling is rehearsal ni siya. Rehearsal ni ba? Ilang kinabuhi, rehearsal ni siya. You're just readying yourself for, in your case, the afterlife. In some people's cases, of warm and fluffy place called heaven, di ba? So, mo na sila siguro nga, ang uban nga, di ba namatay, giingon nga, bahala nagsaging, basta labing, di ba? Di ba? Or kanang maskig unsay, basig kanang mahug nga dahon gikan sa kahoy, naay God has something to do with it. So, this is our lot in life. Ano bitaw? So, mo-accept lang sila ba? And so on and so forth. It could also be that, di ba? Nga atong cultural persuasion ba is geared towards dili lang kayo ta maninguha kay total Diyos ray bahala, di ba? Or ay practice bitaw ni, you know, di ba kanang kung sa termo na nga the poor, blessed are the poor for they shall inherit the earth. Niya paghuman kanang masayon isud sa langit kung pobre ka. Of course there are other versions, iterations of the faith, right? That favors prosperity and so on and so forth. Right? But lain maging interpretation pag tao sa ilang nabasahan, di ba? Lain sad og kaning background and so on and so forth. So maglain gud sila og interpret pud sa mga cultural cues ba from their surroundings, right? What are your thoughts on that matter? Ang cultural aspect of why we overwork ourselves or we don't work enough comes from that place. Kung wa kay gibuhat, tapulan ka, di ba? So kanang yung hustle yun kanang ninguhang gyud ba? So that's actually cultural, di ba? Nga kung matuog ka di tapulan.
Diyos mo
Diba?
kagid sa laan.
Di ba? So what do you think of that? What are the cultural cues that you are getting that you behave a certain way? Are you even aware of that? What do you think, Christine? Go ahead.
Not going to remember from my Rizal class man ata to. So like
Jose
my prof,
Rizal.
my
Jose
prof
Rizal,
said, the Spaniards,
Spaniards na pod.
oh,
So
Colonialism.
sakto gini si Justin da. It all goes back to our colonizers good. Sige, tanaw na.
so the Spaniards daw, kanang they have observed the Filipinos how they work and all. Ilang nabantayan daw, hilig jud daw kay tamo siesta, matulog.
Uy, abi na kung gikan na nila ang mga ang siesta. Dili din nagikan nila di ay.
Dili kay ang kuan daw kanang sa katong mga Filipino thing lang ha. Hili sa una pa jud taganahan og siesta di ingon sa Spaniards na. So mo nila naman tayo anong hilig man kining mga siesta then ang mga Pinoy day mo day magpahuway sila kay kan di ba init kayo. And then if nasa sa farm niya init man kayo so like na may chance nga makuan sila may heat stroke or something might happen to them. So ang ilang buhaton matug sa sila ilas ang ikuan nilang energy and all dayon inig ka dili na kayo
Init.
ay hayag or init ara na sila mo work balik. So ilang tanaw mangud sa Pinoy kanang tapulan pero sa ato kay ato ranggi
Health.
o gibalance sa to ba
Based
kanang
sa
work
weather.
smart
Based
work
sa
smart
weather,
gani.
Work smart.
So I
So
think
temperate based na on the temperature of the day, right?
oo
Mm-mm.
kay init ba yung Pinas ha dili lahi ba jud sa ilang kultura sa ilang place. So muna ilang tanaw sa mga Pinoy kay mga tapulan daw ta. Pero we're not actually.
But na may gitawag nila air conditioning. Be.
Ano lahi na kay kung
Di ba?
Hindi aircon.
muna aircon sa farm.
Palayan airconan.
Sa
Sa farm, sir.
sa farm.
Nada aircon.
Okay. So may pasabot nimo nga ang ilang trabaho na sa gawas sa balay so mamahuway gyud na sila. So mo na sila now that you brought it up, now that I see it, right? Because I'm always in the province, right? So kanang hapon mingog gyud kayo ang kuan ang sa tawag niya ni ang
Palayan.
Fields. Probinsya. Generally speaking ba nangatugin so naanad gyud siguro sila na sa because ang panrabaho nila is kanang dili na kayo init, dili na kayo sakit sa panit, di ba? You're about to say something. Go ahead, Hillary.
Yeah, I was gonna add on na based on observation us here sa mga Eastern or mga Asian cultures kay kita ang murag grabe kay kayo mo kayod like grabe kita muput din sa tong work hours sing ana sa Western kay murag ang ilang work life balance ito mas balance siya, di ba? Like based sa akong nakita murag dili kayo sila like mutanaw ko sa isang example sa universities nila dito kay dili sila same na to na like murag
Ilang school hours kay kanang dito mo sa high school kay 9 to 3 ra ana.
very kanya murag tanong ko nila kay like na pa sila time makalaag maka-party maka-part-time kita diri kay puyan na ta like after sa school nga na gani.
Actually, if you think about it, mo na biggest advantage na to, not necessarily in the contents of our educational system, but the kind of rigor, the kind of kaning punishment bitaw that we go through. That's why kanang mga Asians dito sa Amerika, mga Filipinos dito mo excel.
Yeah,
Not necessarily because of the difficulty of the subjects, but just the difficulty of the schedule ba.
Drive.
O naatay murag kaning gi-expose na nila og mga murag og elements ba nga sometimes useless bitaw but in a way it makes us more gritty,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Mm.
What do you think of that, kaninga Oli? What are your thoughts on that? About our
The grit.
the exposure that students have here in the Philippines versus let's just say in the Western context. What have you heard? Kay kadaghanan sa mga Pilipino nga mo eskwela sa Amerika mo succeed man yun.
Yung lang nako friend na naingon siya na iyang friend po na tawag ang US niya. Nag-college I think dito or something basta na school siya dito yung friend. Na niya na daw na ang subjects daw dito sa gawas kay mapiyong-piyungan ra.
Wow.
Ang feel ako different ilang education ilang curriculum compared sa ato upod. And I think nice po siya actually na mga kanang mga gisalang og lisod daan kay para og eventually mo kanang mo outgrow that something like that. Mas easier na gani para nato mo nang mag term gani na mo run in 10 inches heels para maka-walk in 7 gracefully.
Wow.
Naay ko na response sa atong pangutana, do they deserve a rematch? A DIR, what's DIR? What's DIR? DIR rule number 3 of 6. Know your limits. Know when they say to say no, not anymore, stop and quit. Choosing your battles also apply. So man DIR, but anyway,
Department of Internal Revenue.
no. BIR man na.
Euro
man na. Anyway, so know your limits. Know when to say no and not to anymore. What's that?
I think sir na.
What do you mean?
Na typo lang.
okay.
DIR means SIR.
Okay. So know your limits. So how do you know your limits? Like unsa man, unsa pasabot na? How do you know your limits? Sometimes manggod sa we are defined by what we do. Di ba? Nga ako, for example, Manny Pacquiao, boxer man ko. Right?
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? Right? Yeah, ako, for example, I've been in broadcasting for such a long time, right? What else am I gonna do, right? Magunsa man ko. So sometimes nga we're so attached to what we do, we can't be without it. Some people can't cannot shake off who they once were, right? And the possibility of doing something else. Let's just say si Manny Pacquiao mo himo na siyang dancer, for example, di ba? Mahimo siyang TikToker, di ba? It's probably inconceivable to him because, like they say, people don't want to see old dogs doing new tricks, di ba? It's weird to see Pacquiao unya nagballet na si Pacquiao, di ba?
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean is he has to box. That's all he knows what to do, right? What do you think of that? What do you think of being so attached to what you do that that's all you do because you're not going to explore anything anymore because that's who you are. This is who I am. What do you think?
Okay, like I feel like in terms of boxing, so they're like daghan pa siya pwede possibility ng sudlan na kaning imong sudlan aside sa like actual ka in the ring. For example, retired boxer na ka, pwede man ka mo work as a coach. Pwede ka mo work as like pwede ka mag-start og imong if passion gyud mo ang sa katinga, mag-start ka og kanang mga example mga training centers para ana-ana kay para kabaw ka na imong health di na nimo kaya to box in the ring.
What if he's not good in mentoring? Di siya good in mentoring.
Pwede man siya maka-hire og ng other people, anak mo. If loving niya boxing, pwede man siya maka-build og center, hire people to train, anak. As long as ma-continue lang ang legacy of boxing. Pwede man ma-divert ang iyang purpose to something else na makatabang nun sa future generation.
I think always sad na mag-think kana ganing ako magsisa ko gano na kanang am I staying because there's a potential or am I just afraid to let go? O nga na gani.
What do you mean by potential?
Like,
Is it still income generating? Is that what you mean?
Anything.
Is this all about the money? Like what do you mean by potential?
Like if base lang to kang Pacquiao,
Yeah.
maybe aside from money, the glory.
Pride
Kay
ato,
murag-
no?
Money and glory.
Okay, maski pag na siya sa top, ang tao di jud makontento.
Ah.
Oh, nga mas gusto pag more maski wala na ika more. or maglisod din siya tag let go kana basin si Pacquiao po di nga na po siya maglisod siya let go because he loves boxing. That's mura na.
Lagi, but pwede mo na love din mo ang usa ka thing gyapon, but you don't have to give it up. More channel ito something else lang. Like what I said,
Okay na
mag-coach. Kaya if kana ganing compromise sa iyang health and then love gyapon yang boxing, kada kong gingon na build siya centers, train other people na yung mga techniques. Basically, passing on his legacy. Ana.
Basically exploring new things but within
That, yeah.
Well, if you think about it, si Pacquiao explored other possibilities. He also became, whether you like it or not, a successful politician, diba? Right?
Yeah.
And see, the thing is, if you think about it, they're actually related. Whether you like it or not, diba? Related ang yung boxing career sa politics because people know him as a boxer, and even last Sunday, ang ato ang mga kadalanan mingaw kaayo kay nananaw ang mga tao ni Pacquiao o ni Barrios, di ba? So related na siya kung wa na siya boxing, wa sa Senator Manny Pacquiao siguro right? Sakto ba? Sakto ba na nga
It's a precedent.
Yeah? Sakto ba ko nga kung si Pacquiao dili pa champion, unsa ang pagkailan nato ni Pacquiao, di ba?
Exactly.
So related siya. Right? So I think if you think about it, if he wants to pursue a political career, which if you think about it, in the last elections was unsuccessful because he ran for president and he lost, diba? So that's kind of an unsuccessful bid, right, in his politics. So maybe, just maybe, if he fought again, which is what he did, his mystique, his stock will rise in the surveys again. And maybe he becomes like another political firebrand na pod si Manny Pacquiao, di ba? So it related siya. So akong pangutana ani ang mga botante ganahan ba og kulatado nga presidente? Ganahan ba og binugbog nga senador? Mo na pangutana ron, right?
Yeah. But I think like based from the sa mga commentaries sa people online, no, like ang mga supporters ni Pacquiao mo support siya niya kay tungod sa iyang charity, di ba?
Wala na ako kabalo.
Ay, wala
Nang mangatag ko na sa balay ko, no?
Oh.
Ha? O pa ko nakadawat na yung balay.
It's not because like he's a boxer, it's because na like kanang mutabang jud daw si Pacquiao, mukuha daw sa ground, nga mo na yung selling point niya to sa
Pero I think man pud good kay I'm very exposed to politics pud good sa dili ko like nationally like exposed but like sa locality lang. Okay, and the thing man is like whether we choose to believe it or not, ang majority sa voters kay dili gani anang super informed.
Yeah.
Ang ilahang ganahan, ang ilang i-vote is for example kani mga ubang mga tao walay time to research ana kay busy trabaho labi sa probinsya. Dan kay trabaho diri trabaho diha. Wala na time to kanang to check gani kung kinsa ang sakto na candidate na for to put in office. Ang tendency mo is ang kanilang mga tao mo pick sila to someone who they know.
Popularity
vote. Popularity vote. So since dako man ang ni Pacquiao, I think that's one of the reasons po good.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't know it. Maybe gisulti nila nga when we're playing checkers, he's actually playing three-dimensional chess, diba? Maybe he's looking at the pieces differently from ours, diba? We are looking at him as somebody who's trying to be relevant at an advanced age, but maybe he's looking at his political career here on the side, diba? Nga basig kung maaway pa ko, I can win a championship, maybe my legend will even grow even more. Kaya mo ginay para nako nakaapan sa Osaka high achiever. The very same thing, we talked about this before, I'll say this again, the very same thing that made them succeed is also the very same thing that will make them fail because they will not quit. Diba? Mo na siya problema anang mga high achievers. Dili na sila makatake kung mapildi sila. Diba? Nakabantay mo anang, I really can attest to this. Nakabantay mo anang mga summa cum laude, kanang mga graduates sa eskwelahan, nga they're successful but not they did not fulfill the promise of being ultra successful, but they in many ways I can make an assertion that a lot of the cum laudes of my school years were underachieving. Mura bitaw dili sila as successful as we think they should be ba, because
outside school na ba,
Diba? Kay hadlok man na sila og failure.
Mm.
That's my theory. Nga kanang mga high achievers, they've succeeded in life. They've already found a formula for success in school. So muna lang ibuhato nila in the corporate world. Muna akong theory ana.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
miss kanang opportunities gani.
Yeah.
Because mura man ilang gi-follow jud. Then di na dito para for them or it doesn't work out. So I think sakto sa jud ang ging. I agree with Sir G.
What do you think of that, Hillary? What do you think of that? Ikaw, sa mga high achiever ka sa eskwelahan? Have you found have you settled? I think that's the word. Have you settled on a formula? Ha? And ano
Wala,
na din,
sir.
mo follow lang ko sa authority, mo follow lang ko sa rules, ako lang buhaton this and that, and I can already
Very LRA. For context, sir, top 1 siya sa SAS.
Yeah.
Anda.
Top 1 siya sa SAS.
Dili di pre ako nga taphaw sa SAS ay. Si Hillary kay top sa SAS, kanang student of
Dean's
School of
Lister.
Arts and
School of Arts and Sciences.
So what are your thoughts on that? Nga you've already found a formula for success, so why throw it away? That's my formula. So I'm gonna use this one to be able to succeed in real life when I graduate.
Actually, kanang mga stories na ganyan, kanang mga cum laude, sa mga cum laude na murag, dili kayo sa successful na, hadlok na pod ko na. Actually, so like, no, what if, no, running for ko, basta may nga na ko, may pressure and all that. And at first, kaya like, kanang...
It's okay. You have us. We are your support group.
Ay, wow.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, I used to believe that pod na like, I found this formula, I'm gonna stick with it till the end. I will follow the rules. Ang criteria sa mga professors, I will follow them bisag ang criteria nila kay dili mo ang align sa akong beliefing ana or whatever. But just recently, like, nakarealize ko na, ay, murag, kuan man day gapon, like, it's okay to break the rules man sad.
Okay.
Nga na gani.
Familiar.
Thank you, tutors. But yeah, like, I realized na like, kanang, naman say like, there's something that is positive in like breaking the rules or like knowing how to deviate from a formula sa gani. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. So yeah, I think we'll see how this goes.
What do you think of that? What do you think of my theory? If you succeed, if you find a success early in life, you will follow that until the end, and you will succeed, but you'll be perhaps underachieving. What are your thoughts
Yeah,
on that?
diba there's this thing na we're peaking and we're
Peaking too soon?
delikado peaking too soon.
Yeah.
Or sa high, like, peaking at high school daw niya. Kay when you peak man good, wala namang lang padulngan pa other than down. So like baka yeah, sa migay ni Sir Jiggy, nakita na kasi yung formula of success. So, nga mo deviate pa mga na muna may nakapaka-successful na ako. Labi na in the academe. Kaya a lot of people, feel na ko man good, a lot of students na ka naging think na the academe is the same as katong work na yun outside world. Kuan ba ya like sa ako na experience lang ang academe kay diba mga exam nag instructions ana but when you go out ba ya ka-deliver na ang instructions kay hungit gyud ninyo.
Yeah.
Pangit magkuan ba papangitaon mo og way ana to solve this on your own. Sometimes po di mo magluto instructions, mubuhat mo inyong haradaan. So
And if you're afraid to kanang break the rules
Oo.
or kanang go beyond gani, kay feel mo kaysa nag-eskwela ta rigid kayo ang instructions,
Oo.
ang school rules. Then kita naanad man ta nga strictly following it. Di
Yeah.
na to mo kuan, di na to mo excel.
yeah, plus if sa school man good if mo excel ka, awardan ka in the workplace na may if mo excel ka, ay okay, good job.
Yeah.
Credit to you.
Credit to you.
In case you're wondering what we're talking about, we're actually talking about boxing, but abot na eskwelahan. We're talking about achieving high success rates in the school setting and in life, and when to quit. Ang atong pangutana man gud is, does Pacquiao and Barrios deserve a rematch? Do you think they deserve a rematch? Text 0999 887-6070, or you can message us on our Facebook page, Tops Media Center, at Jiggy Juice at Tops Media Center on YouTube, and also on TikTok. I-comment lang dito yung mga matampo ni sa among conversation. When is it time for you to consider it quits? When do you quit? Is that even part of your vocabulary? Is quitting part, and should it be part of your vocabulary? There are people who are saying when you retire, that's already your deathbed. Like, you're that's the beginning of the end. So some people, like for example, see Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett. I'm sure you're familiar with him, or see Rupert Murdoch of Fox. They're already in their 70s and their 80s. Donald Trump will be 80 years old. Joe Biden was 81 when he was running, when he was president, and he ran for the next term, right? So some people don't know when to quit, and sometimes that's all they know, and sometimes it's good for them not to quit, because kung quit ka, mura na kag mo downward spiral ba, right? So it could be that quitting is not part of their vocabulary, but is quitting actually a good thing? Like, when is quitting a good thing? Should be the next question for Pacquiao, and for you guys, right? Like, when is quitting a good thing?
I have it's been on my kanang mind.
Go ahead, tell us, please share it to us.
This is a question for you, Sir G.
Okay, go ahead. Ask me.
I
Ask
saw
me
this-
anything. Yeah, we'll
about
have.
quitting sad somehow.
Okay.
And then I saw this comment pang God nga, wala ka nang mas maayo guro no nga we mag-stop na ta o quit na ta sige import or invest o kanang mga basketball players sa Pinas kay murag di man jud kay sila ma-excel unlike sa basket daw or kanang billiards gani kanang pers ni F. Oh, kanang do you think it has something to do kanang sa tong sa at nganong mas tanaw na to ba mas mo excel guro ang Pinoy if boxing ang i-invest na to kesa sa basketball kay tungod na sa kanang height or sa physique.
Yeah.
Do you think Sir Jiggy nga mas mag-invest ka ng nga nga sport ka ng
Actually, yeah.
sa basketball kay wala kay no kuan sa basket.
For all it's worth, height matters in basketball.
Yeah.
Ang beauty among good sa boxing is it's based on your weight. Weight ba? Onya kung taas ka, mas bugat mo jud ka, di ba? So unless you go for the heavyweight or daot kay kasanan katong away before that, I don't know if you saw the match. Away nga ang boxer kay 6'5". Puti na nang taas even for basketball. That's already very tall. Onya ang kontra niya Australian 5'9" ra. So pildi jud kayo ang mubo. Di ba? So because taas kayo limbs, taas kayo arms ang usaba, so di gid makaigo wingspan. So but that was a rare occasion. Usually even Pacquiao and Barrios, if you think about it, Barrios I think is a 6-footer, right? Unya si Pacquiao kay 5'5", so there's like a 6 inch disparity. Pero in spite of that, they fought toe-to-toe. So dili kaayo mo matter ang height sa sport nga boxing kumpara sa basketball. So yeah, I think we should pour more resources in other sports that are not height related. Kanang, for example, weightlifting. Weightlifting. We won gold already, right? Billiards, gymnastics, and so on and so forth. Diba? So yeah, if the ultimate goal for the nation is just gold, if that's your measure ba, pero lahi mo sa ng gold, lahi mo sa ng love, good. You know what I mean? Lahi sa na siya nga a factor that a leader has to think about. But if your country loves a specific sport, then it's just but normal for you to fund what people love, because they want to see us excel in basketball at the high at the world stage, diba? And we have had success in basketball, but nalagi yoy import.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also part of the rules. You can actually import a player, naturalize. Di mo na hitabo na I think we won gold somewhere, or not necessarily the Olympics, but somewhere I think we won SEA Games or the Jones Cup or whatever. But we've won several gold medals in basketball. So yeah.
And why do you think, sir, na the Philippines is sort of like a basketball nation na we don't have the height necessarily? Anong basketball man dyan atong main diri sa Philippines? What do you think?
You know what? There's actually a book about that, but just like a lot of things in life, for me lang, this is my personal opinion, without reading that book about basketball and in the Philippines, I think it's just random chance lang ba? It just so happened we like this sport. Yeah. And it's also cheap, right? You just need a ring
And a ball.
and that's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, it
makes
could,
sense.
yeah, and then it's competitive sport, and we're tightly knit community. We're a closely knit the family, the Filipino barangay, barrio, whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's why. It's just by sheer coincidence and sheer luck that we stumbled upon basketball. It could have been something else, but instead it was basketball. That's my theory. Sometimes we don't have to have a reason for something. Sometimes it's just random chance, right?
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on that, guys? Text 0999-887-6070. Atong hisgutan good is when is the right time to quit? And does Barrios and Pacquiao deserve a rematch? Para nako, si Barrios does not deserve a rematch because he did not defeat Manny Pacquiao. Right? 30 anyos siya. He's very young. He's the world champion. Right? And in spite of the disparity in age, which is huge in boxing, and disparity in height, which is 6 inches, which is 7 inches, which is huge in boxing. Wag pa siya nakapildi. So I think he doesn't deserve a rematch. I think it should be Pacquiao who should have a rematch. Let's just see really his mettle. His excuse was he was already training. He started training late na ba? May naman after the elections. May, June, July. 2 months sa iyang practice, di ba? And he said he should have practiced even more than nakabantay mo murag medyo chunky si Pacquiao, di ba? Murag dili kay siya kaning thin ba, di ba? In the best shape, right? 0999-887-6070. In a bit, we're going to talk about another topic, which is about the copycat culture of the Philippines. Before we actually go there, tell us what you mean by kaning copycat. This is your big idea, guys. So what's copycat culture? And it is related to an event that happened somewhere, right? Go ahead. Who wants to answer that question? What is this topic that we're about to talk about later on about copycat? What does that mean?
So copycat culture, basically. So we were talking about this yesterday, and recently lang, the Filipino adaptation of a K-drama titled It's Okay Not to Be Okay was airing on Netflix. Top na siya within top 10 years of Philippines. And that's where we thought na ganun murag mas sikat gani ang mga remakes, ang mga adaptations that we took from other countries as opposed to the original ones. Because when we look at our TV channels, for example, like we have PBB, kanang Family Feud, kanang mga Minute to Win It. They're actually not originally from the Philippines. They're from other countries, Western and even Eastern. But they're more popular, they're more recognized, and we thought na ganun nga naman na mas popular lagi ang mga things na we quote-unquote copied from the others as opposed to our original works. Diba? That's like the main gist.
Yeah.
So that's why we copy because it's more popular.
It's a quote-unquote successful formula for popularity.
So muna to isgutan karon taud the copycat culture in the Philippines. What's the full title of the episode again? Is that what it is? Copycat culture of the Philippines? Is
Yeah,
that okay?
Philippine media.
Okay. Atong tak na karon 48 minutos ang ilabay sa alas 10. Na itubag diri si 22803 Josie or Jose D from Mandaue. With the basketball theory, I believe it's because of the Western culture influence ato sa Pinas since the 70s until now. Kaya affected pata about ani Pirosin, my opinion, maujud na siya. I think that's Piroser.
Tama ka, Miss Justin. Colonialism.
Maujud, we are so good at making our own versions of Western shows instead of making our own. I blame colonialism. Tora. Ang ato ang tak na karon lagi 49 minutos ang nilabay sa alas 10. Manghisgot kita og copycat culture karon taud. So let's just cap off our conversation about when to quit. Should Pacquiao already hang up his gloves and move on to other things, or should he fight another match perhaps maybe at the age of 47, which is really really old? So my thought about that is like good si Pacquiao, you really can't compare it to us, although part of the appeal of Pacquiao is because he's a common tao, diba? He's so relatable. He's just like us, blah blah blah. But he was thrust into this spotlight, which is a fluke. I think I mean, kind of boxing. It really is about not just your skill set, but also who you know, your connections. Ba nasortian na gyud siya. His first match was actually he was a replacement fighter 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Murag na ay championship bout unya ang challenger man siguro to ni beg out for whatever health reasons. Murag replacement siya ba? So that's luck. That's luck, right? And so on and so forth. So but in Pacquiao's case, I think his boxing career is related to the other thing that he wants to do, which is politics, right? So I think he should fight as many fights as he wants, as long as his life is not in danger, and so on and so forth. So I think he should not quit until such time he can no longer protect himself, right, on the ring, and that's when he should quit. If you think about it, katong away nila ni Barrios, he wasn't that badly hurt, right? Iyang nang wala man kayo na nabunog. So let's just hope nga nothing serious will come out of it later on in his life. Basig mag-Alzheimer's na si Pacquiao Simbako, so we don't know, right? We can't really tell until he gets to that point. So as long as he can protect himself, he can still keep on keeping on. Napay tubag diri si 8463. Excuse me. According to Justine, athletes should quit when passion becomes dread. Psychological burnout is real. Sometimes wanting to achieve more can be self-destructive, both physically and emotionally. So yeah, we're gonna cap it off with that, and stay tuned for our next topic, which is the copycat culture of the Philippines. What do you think of that? We're gonna talk about that. 0999-887-6070. That's our text number. Our the Facebook page and social media platforms is Tops Media Center. You can join that. Also press follow, press subscribe, and do heart or like our page. Okay. Also, Jiggy Juice 105.1